Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. Nicholas Rod here, Chris Baker here with you for this Friday morning news show. Chris, give us the weather, would you?
In Los Angeles, California, it is sunny and 91 with a sunny weekend. In Houston, Texas, there's thunderstorms 74 and more thunderstorms through the weekend. In Chicago, Illinois, it is sunny and 53 with a cloudy weekend. In New York City, it's partly cloudy 68 with a partly cloudy weekend.
Fun times. So, Chris, we made it to Friday. We survived another week. How has it been?
Thank you, Jesus.
Done with this week, are you?
Yes.
It's
been a busy week.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because I have today off.
I do agree that it's been a busy week. No doubt. This week has been filled to the brim for me. But we made it through. We survived. And that's all that matters.
I've decided. I don't know what I've decided, but I've decided that this week has been just so long. I don't know why. I'm tempted to tell you, Nick, enjoy the weekend, keeping up with everything because I'm taking the weekend off. But I can't do that to you because I know how desperately you need your boss secretary here.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because it's been a busy week for both of us, as we've stated. For you, you say it's been the longest week. For me, this week has absolutely flown by. I don't know what it is. And this is something that happened last week to me, too. Because last week was a pretty busy week also. It just absolutely flew. And the worst part was it didn't slow down for the weekend. So I'm hoping that this time around it's a little kinder to me. But I don't expect it to happen.
You know what I expect to happen?
What's that?
I wake up tomorrow and I'm just done through graduation.
Just give up.
My senioritis is in full effect.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep mine at bay. And I kind of have to right now. I've got a few big assignments and a few big events kind of coming together right around this time. After we finish recording this, I get to finish a book report, which will be fun. And then on Monday, I take an AP exam. So, some big things kind of happening where I have to put some work in, put some effort in, and keep the senioritis away. But after that, I don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, sounds like Nick's got a busy night. I don't because I got tomorrow off. So I'm just going to go to bed and wake up when I wake up. But for common courtesy to Nick, instead of going on and on and on about the delicious chocolate chip cookies that I want to make tomorrow, let's get into the news.
I want cookies now. I don't like
Too bad you don't get any of my cookies.
Oh.
Maybe I'll mail some to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So moving into the news, are you fully vaccinated? In most cases, you don't need to be wearing a mask, at least when you're outdoors. The CDC issued new guidance regarding wearing masks Monday, and that guidance came in the form of a graphic. Green means safe, yellow means less safe, and red means not safe at all. The activities are listed down the middle of the graphic, and you can see on the right side those who are fully vaccinated, all activities are safe. Though some still require a mask, for example, indoor events. But if you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask outdoors, whether you are working out or attending a small gathering with others.
The CDC says that you are considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after your final shot. For those that are not fully vaccinated, the guidance says that you must keep your mask on for almost every activity, and only a few are safe. To see the graphic for yourself, or to read more about the science behind these new guidelines, you can go to cdc.gov or click the link in the show notes.
The census is out, and depending on the state you live in, you might be gaining or losing a Congress member. So remember last year when the census was conducted, well, the results are in, Like we've said before, representatives are based off of the populations, and the census that is conducted every 10 years is the mechanism to measure the population. So, who is gaining House seats and who is losing members? According to the Census Bureau, 6 states are gaining. Texas is gaining 2 representatives. Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon are all gaining 1.
On the other hand, some states are losing seats. These include California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. They all lose 1 seat. Even though California is the most populated state in the country with 39,538,233 people living in the state, Texas gained the most over the past 10 years, adding nearly 4 million people since 2010, which brings the population to 29,145,505 people. The fastest growing state was Utah, which increased 18.4% since 2010 and now has over 3 million residents. The least popular state is Wyoming, with a population of 576,851 residents. Officially, the U.S. is home to 331,449,281 people.
On the eve of President Biden's 100 days in office, he addressed a joint session in Congress. The speech was his first joint session, but it looked a lot different than he usually does. Usually, these types of speeches attract almost all 535 members of the House and Senate, plus their guests, plus the Supreme Court justice, plus cabinet secretaries, and lots of media. And the House chambers are usually packed, as you can imagine. But because of social distancing this time around, the sergeant at arms capped the audience at 200 people, even though the House chamber could accommodate up to 1,500 people. That means some lawmakers did not get an invite, nor did any of their guests. Plus, only the Chief Justice John Roberts from the Supreme Court was invited, and only 2 cabinet members were in attendance.
Though the president is speaking to a joint session of Congress, this is not considered a formal State of the Union address because technically, presidents don't give that speech until their second year in office. Here's what he talked about. He talked about the accomplishments of delivering more than 200 million COVID-19 vaccines, getting the COVID-19 infection rate down, and passing the American Rescue Plan. He also talked about the American Jobs Plan, introduced the American Families Plan. He also touched on the importance of passing the George Floyd bill.
President Biden's speech to Congress was about an hour and 10 minutes, and then the Republican Senator Tim Scott responded to it saying that he wanted to pass a police reform bill, but Democrats shot him down, and they are trying to push a Democratic agenda more than anything.
This now leads us to some talk about the American Families Plan. Remember how we talked about the passing of a 2-part stimulus package, part 1 being the American Jobs Plan, and the second part is the American Families Plan. Part 2, the American Families Plan, is out. The president has unveiled his $1.8 trillion families plan. First off, before anything else, let's just make it clear that neither parts of this stimulus package have a stimulus check for the people, nor do they have a $15,000 first-time home buyer credit, and nor do they have student loan forgiveness. They're not included, so don't believe those that have told you otherwise.
So what is in the plan? Extension of the enhanced child tax credit with the monthly payment optional, $225 billion for the affordable child care families earning 1.5 times the state median income will pay no more than 7% of their income on child care for kids younger than 5. Provide total of 12 weeks for guaranteed at least partial pay, paid parent leave, family and personal illness leave by the 10th year of the program. Provide 2 years free community college. Invest in $200 billion in universal pre-K for all 3 and 4-year-olds through a national partnership with states, permanently extend the more generous healthcare subsidies approved in the last stimulus law, and make permanent expansion of the earned income tax credit for workers without children.
So how is this plan being paid for? The president suggests increasing the marginal income tax for the top 1% of income earners to 39.6%. It was 37%. And requiring families earning more than $1 million a year to pay higher taxes on capital gains by increasing that rate to 39.6%. This is only a proposal, of course, and everything is subject to negotiation and change as we move forward.
So Wednesday, the IRS issued new guidance on the increased child tax credit and the monthly payment starting in July. The most important thing for you to understand is if you want to take advantage of the monthly option, you need to file your 2020 taxes. The IRS will determine your monthly amount on the return. The IRS is also encouraging you to file electronically because it's the easiest way to get the money to you. The increased credit and monthly option is only at this point is only valid for the 2021 tax year.
Now, let's look at what the qualifications are for this. If you filed jointly or are married and make less than $150,000 per year, you qualify. If you're the head of house and are making less than $112.5 thousand a year, you qualify. Or if you file single and make less than $75,000 per year, you qualify. If you qualify, you probably want to know what you'll get. You'll get $3,600 for children 0 to 5 years old and had not attained the age of 6 by the end of the taxable year, and $3,000 for children 6 to 17 years old who will not attain the age of 18 by the end of the taxable year. If you decide to get monthly payments, for children under the age of 5, you will get $300 per month from July until December. And for children 6 to 17 years old, you will receive $250 per month between July and December. If you want the monthly option, you will have had to have had a main home in the US for more than a half year.
If you would rather not do the monthly payment and you would rather take the full credit when you file your 2021 taxes in 2022, you will have the opportunity to opt out. You will also have the opportunity to update information like income, filing status, and number of qualified children. Those details are still to come, so just wait and we'll let you know as soon as we find out. But now let's get into some rapid news. We only got one this week, and it is President Biden's joint session of Congress had a total of 22,600,000 viewers. Nick, tell us some good news.
All right. So for today's good news story, it's kind of interesting because it has some sad but very touching elements to it, because a mother received a call one day that her son was in an accident and that he wasn't going to make it. So she got to the hospital and she decided that her son would become an organ donor. So the process started. Um, a number of his organs were taken, and then there was one that is where this article was centered. This man, he was a biker for a lot of his younger life. He was still pretty young at the time of this article. He was 33 or so. But he had struggled with a lot of different problems when he was, in his teens and in his 20s. He dealt with leukemia, which eventually led to heart problems down the line. And it got to a point where he needed to have an electronic device hooked to him at all times to help with the pumping of his heart. But it eventually got so bad that they tried to uh, put him on the list for a heart transplant. And, the boy who became an organ donor, his heart went to this man. And once the heart transplant was completed, he slowly began his recovery, started doing the rehab and all of that. And he started eventually to get back on the bike. First started out with the stationary bike in the rehab center, and then eventually got back on the road and on-road biking. Well, with everything that happened, the mother wanted to send letters out to those people that she knew had gotten transplants using the organs from her son. And so she sent the letters out, and eventually the man who got the heart received the letter, and he read it, and it just took him forever to process the whole thing. And he decided to write back and ask if the mom wanted to stay in touch. So they started talking, and the man decided that when he was at full strength again, he would bike across the country to meet the mother and to give a little thanks for everything that to give a thanks for just being able to survive. It was her son's heart that allowed him to survive. And he just wanted to say thank you to her and her son. And so he recovered, and they made the trip. He took a friend and a doctor with him, and he rode from San Diego all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, which, if you are wondering, is 1,426 miles. And he rode that entire way pretty much all on his bike, and did end up meeting the mother, and it was a very tearful and emotional greeting. It was just incredible to read.
This is a very interesting news story because mother gets a call that her son's been in a car accident. He's gone brain dead. This is usually the decision. It's the hardest decision, but especially for a parent to make the decision of either to donate or do not donate their child's organs or even a loved one's organs. It's not an easy decision. And if they decide yes to donate them, that's usually the end of there's usually no closure for the loved one of who's getting it or anything. But somehow this mom got in contact with the person that got the heart transplant, and then those two stayed in touch, and then he made a 1,400-mile bike ride across country to meet her.
Just to say thank you
That's
to
just
her.
crazy because it's a big event that first of all, it's crazy. It's great that you thank her, and it's just something that's unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unheard of to hear someone bike across the country, let alone to thank someone for their son's heart.
Yeah, and one of the most touching parts came right at the end of the article, because it ended, the article ended with them grabbing a stethoscope from the RV that traveled with the man along his journey, where the doctor was writing throughout the whole thing. And the mom got to hear the heart beating in his chest, got to know that it was her son's heart beating in his chest. And the article ended with it saying that, her son was alive in this man. His heart was still alive.
That's a great story. It's unique. It's special. It's
It's
just a really
emotional.
special story. Yeah, it is. Good job on this one, Nick. That is the end of this Friday morning news episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you follow us on our Blind Boys Politics Twitter account for the latest 24-hour breaking news, so you're always in the know. And make sure you follow us on our personal accounts to see what we're up to and read our most recent news article. Nick just wrote about Rudy Giuliani's house being raided by the FBI for an investigation. For more information about that, make sure you check out that article. But until Monday morning, hope you all have a great weekend.
See you guys.